Welcome, friends. I'm back today. It's February the 18th. I'm going to run through the third crucial phase of the cosmic appointment that I invited you to last video. The phases can be done at any time, but right now we're doing them because we have all of these calendar and celestial events that are happening, and it's a really good time to call out what you really, really want. And for me, I want peace, right? I want especially strong, sturdy leaders, teachers, therapists, educators of all kind, coaches, like to join me in recreating the timeline for the entire world. Because if you are paying attention to any news channel, I don't care what you watch, either or, right? And look, a little side note, ground news is my source of news because it shows you the wings of the poison bird. It shows you which articles lean left or right and how many times that source has been published and who, like, it's the most valid piece of information, digital literacy that I've ever seen. And I've been an educator, a high school teacher, and a college professor for decades. And so when I laugh at the hypocrisy that I see in the news today, and the noise that all the old ways and the old media and the vile evil that lives in this world, that is at the hands of very few countries, and our fate is in the hands of very few people. And the only way to take your power back is to stop participating and build your own community and take messy action every single day. Take messy action because they want you to be dumb. They want you not to be educated. I mean, you know how they're trying to get the voter rule? This is hilarious. I love this for you, GOP. Like, they're trying to change it so that you can't vote without your passport. But they didn't do their research because the educated in blue states are more likely to travel. And in fact, what's wrong with the red states and the people who are still, despite everything you've heard about the Epstein files, despite your lack of even wanting to know what's in them, the rest of the world is ready to act. And so I'm not about left or right anymore. I'm about right and wrong, because the top few are corrupting all of us, and there are far more of us than there are of them. And until you take your power back, this will get considerably worse. This life of ours, I used to pay $500 a month for my family of 4 for average insurance. Pretty crappy these days, my insurance, right? That was like an average insurance. That same insurance right now is $1,700 a month. And it's crappy insurance. The fact that we are the only developed nation as successful and educated as most of our populace is in our most populated states, those educated people, the fact that you need to stand up and become the sturdiest version of yourself that you've ever been, is that is the fact of the matter. Like, we must stand up to this type of tyranny. I mean, I teach good literature for decades, and my thing is recognize the themes of a piece of literature. That's the first slide in a slideshow, is like, these are the themes we're about to explore. And then at the end of the day, can you see that your worldview is dictated by the family that you've been raised in, and that maybe, just maybe, you need to step outside your familial worldview and whatever they tell you to believe in, what God to believe in, how to pray, how to dress, how to act, when to have sex, all of it. When you act in a way that serves only yourself, that kind of thinking needs to be snapped and smoked out. The level of corruption of every big bank, of every politician, it's two sides of the same poison bird. And I do these videos live now. I'm going to do 12 o'clock live until I don't feel like doing them anymore. I'm not trying to even boost my algorithm because I'm publishing them right away. Like, if you know what you're doing, you don't want to publish right away because you want the algorithm to go through the whole video and listen to it and tag the words and do the SEO and then publish the video. But I'm not doing this for likes. Although, yes, if you're here, like, comment, subscribe, share, all the goods. Okay, I'm here to get the feminine power back in control because we've lost it. If we believe the chaos of the culture wars that are going on right now, everyone is trying to cause noise and distract you. And so I know that. I recognize it when I see it. When I hear Humpty Dumpty make imperialistic comments and take imperialistic actions, I see them because in literature, you're taught to spot patterns. When you're teaching literature, you're discussing those patterns. You're having deep, meaningful connections in your classrooms if you're any good at what you're doing. You're not a sage on the stage. Like, the most obnoxious teachers are still trying to be the sage on the stage. And like, I only have one viewer right now. I'm here for you, whoever you are. Make a comment. I don't know. But like, if one person vibes with how I'm vibing, that's all I need to keep going, because I'm not doing this for the money or to promote my book or all the goals that I have for my future, because I'm already doing those things on the side. Okay, I am ready for all of us to step back into our power. And strong, real men, your power is feminine. It's nurturing. It's not all protect. It's protect and serve. And you don't serve children well by RAPing them. You don't serve children well when you send them to the safest school in probably the world and they still feel unsafe because you have taught your kids it's okay to use the R word again. And you hear horrible things in your classrooms and in the hallways of your school, but you don't talk about it because that would cause friction. And we don't want these children to have any friction. We want their lives to be sweet and ceremoniously comfortable because we want to feed them exactly what we need them to know. And some of the people in the leadership roles at that school were the most arrogant, obnoxious people I've ever seen walk a school building. Like, you should not be having behavior like Yosemite Sam if you are in charge of behavior. I mean, it's like the policing of the sweetest, kindest kids I've ever met. I mean, I loved the kids at that school. I didn't care if they thought that there was a litter box in Texas. I didn't care that they said horrible things about every Arab is evil. At the end of the day, I was like, that's a kid that I'm in charge of their mental health and their English language arts needs, their college needs. I'm in charge of that while they're with me. And I'm going to be a sturdy leader. I'm not going to make them feel smaller. I'm not going to assert my power. I'm going to create the most loving, inviting, welcoming, safe space I can for the 50 minutes that they are with me. And if you are not the kind of teacher who is doing that, and you are still a sage on a stage, that method is for college students, for secondary learners. And the way all kids are nowadays, post-COVID, post they don't really read anymore, post they use chat since chat opened way before the teachers even knew it, before you caught on to it and you put all your systems in place to stop the plagiarism, they were way ahead of you. They already were using it. Hell, I have a job dedicated to teaching teachers how to use AI in the classroom. I get paid for that. And I don't even believe in all of what AI should be doing. Some of it's unethical. It needs to be regulated. Period. So, the first day was what are we releasing? What are we burning? I literally burned, after writing my paper, burned it, and I planted it in my flower garden in my backyard by my beautiful pool inside my 5-bedroom house that I pay for by myself, that I've owned a home since I was 26 years old. I've never taken a handout. I did get government aid for college because we didn't have that kind of money when I was growing up. I'm the youngest of 2.5 brothers raised by a man. And so I have deep experience of what the world looks like from a human perspective, not every problem I ever had, my parents solved it for me and they threw money at it. That's the problem with the parenting of wealthy kids, and I'm guilty of it. When I got busy after Adrian died, I was like, here, you need a tutor? Here's the tutor. You need a therapist? Here's a therapist. Oh, you need a therapist? Here's a therapist. You want a equine therapist? Let's do it. I threw money at all my problems because I was fortunate enough to start my life in the way that I wanted to be when I was super young. And so this channel, my new mission is to get people engaged in real reading and back to learning in ways that are authentic and relevant. Because I've been saying this for decades, okay? Because I was a virtual teacher starting in 2005. People thought I was crazy to leave the Bay. Like, why would I leave the Bay? I had it made there. Well, because I knew this little virtual school existed and I could work from home and I got to nurse my babies while I talked to students in Blackboard Illuminate. In 2005. In 2020, that was my best year of income and business ever. While everyone else was struggling, I was teaching the teachers at NSU University and multiple counties in the state how to transfer what you do day to day, K through college, into the online environment because I was already there 15 years. That was my wheelhouse. Hybrid model, face-to-face, fully online, asynchronous, synchronous. I know how to do it all and I write curriculum. And the problem is that people don't want to read. Some dude, what's his name? He's so gross. He's like one of those beta bros with the cigars and he's like, I don't read. I don't even know his name. I don't even want you to tell me his name, but he basically made a whole video about like starting with he doesn't read and like that, and he thinks he's like God's gift. And I went to high school with some of these guys with these attitudes. Like their Jewish mothers taught them that they were the end all be all, that they were the holy grail, that God put them on that earth and they were the chosen people. And okay, you know what? Jewish people, you're not the only religion that thinks that of their people. Evangelical Christians are the same, right? Everybody's voting for their God, but what's going on in the world today is bigger than your God. It's bigger than, oh, it's my cousin, my twinny cousin. I love you. I love you. I am here to read and bring reading and sexual literacy into your world so that you know that what you see from Victoria's Secret to, I mean, I don't know if you understand the degree to which our society is corrupted, but let me refresh you that everyone in the Epstein files, whether you want to believe they are true or not, the rest of the world sees it, and that will start the catalyst what needs to happen in America. But certain men's desire for the female who doesn't have the 11s and the baby weight from, or what menopause for me, like the putting paint, like kids shorts. My kids used to want to buy shorts that had like things written on their ass, and I have 3 daughters who are gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, and I was like, no, no names on the butts. Like, what's the point? Then I was a cheerleader my whole life from 4 years old through the University of Miami College. And then when I left cheerleading, all of a sudden now they're all their bloomers have like things on their ass. And I'm like, that's not what the sport is about. It's not about your ass, girl. It's about your athleticism and the spirit that you bring to the mat or the field or your team to win, because winning feels great, doesn't it? But there are some people in this world that are only winning because they gamed the system. All these data centers going up with AI, the way AI is rapidly changing the growth, like the job market. Like, if you don't know what I know, and I'm here because I can talk about all different facets of health and wellness and literacy, environmental. It's espies. Like, if you were Spanish and you couldn't say the S, they say espies. Like my daughter Sky, her father was Cuban, so it's esky, right? Many of the relatives say esky, so it's espies. Think of the emotional toll that looking in your social media feed has had for you. Do you want to go and have sex right now after what you've seen and heard? Ew. No. What about your social circle? Is that smaller or bigger? Right? What about the politics that you're watching? What about the environment, the culture that you have in your world, where you're shopping, what you look at every day, what you scroll through, who you listen to, what's going on in all, what vitamins you take? Like, we need to look at everything we are doing, and we need to pull the reins in on the horse while we're riding the wave. And if you were here yesterday, that would make sense. That's why I was a good teacher, not because I was letting them color as I got made fun of last year in the private school. No, they were coloring content maps that were evidence-based strategies that get literacy into the minds of anyone, much less a high school kid. Okay? So to have a kid color something of meaning with whatever I gave them. Yes, we had markers, colored pencils, every device you could have was in my room. And then while I introduce a topic and I have a slide up, they're all coloring. What, folks, they're teenagers. Watch them in the hallway, watch them at lunch, watch them anywhere, and then step in my room and they're all coloring, and you think that's infantile? You don't know a thing about teaching. I have their brains locked in by conversation, by relevant meaning conversation that engages them while I'm calming down their central nervous system with the coloring that is related to exactly the topic I'm talking about. And so when you make learning fun, you make people unstoppable. But what is going to happen with jobs because of AI? There is a shift happening, and it's about to go medieval if people don't wake up. It already is medieval in a lot of ways. Like, the people are fighting out the hard way, right? FAFO. I can afford my health insurance, but I choose not to because I decided, you know what? I'm going to take a chunk of money and every month devote it to health and well-being of my family and pray to God that before they actually do the right thing in healthcare and give the only developed nation with the wealth and the minds, where are the brilliant minds? Where are the leaders? If we're so brilliant, why do we have a decreasing our infant mortality rate is increasing, meaning babies are dying more now in the past 2 to 3 years than ever. We have a declining birth rate. We have people in poverty. We have huge leaders in total denial. This is not a time to be quiet and silent. This is a time to step into a new era. And today, I really want you to do the work. Like, look in the notes, look in the show notes. I'm putting as much detail in there as possible so that you can go on your own and take a journal and take a piece of paper and write it down. So yesterday I was calling in, and I am brave to even share what I wrote because I feel a little audacity in a little hubris, a little badass. I don't know. I feel pretty big and bold, but decently bold writing it, but saying it out loud, that's a whole different story. And I wouldn't suggest you tell anybody the things you're writing, but this is work I've done time and time and time again. This is a ritual for me for a long time, if you know me. It's a new moon thing, frankly. But I wrote this is what I'm calling in. This was phase 2. The time is now. I call in love or above. Now, love or above is a frequency. If you look at the omega frequency of energies, you'll see shame and anger. They're all the way bottom of human frequencies. And for me, I want to vibrate with people who are only at the vibration of love or above. I have it written in my bedroom in a chalkboard heart. Every year I have a word of the year. This year it's evergreen, but I always have love or above is my only way to do life. That also means I give people the MGI, the most generous interpretation, because that's a love or above thing to do. I don't automatically go to, this person must do this or must think that. Like, I don't let my brain tell those fake narratives. I control it and I say, no, this person loves me. I don't think she would do that on purpose. I'm just going to talk to her or whatever, right? The most generous interpretation. When you don't give people the most generous interpretation and act from love or above, it affects you more than it affects anybody else, because then you're not truly in your heart, right? Because why yell at people? If you're yelling, I've always said this to every beginning pre-service teacher class I've ever worked with, every class I've ever taught to educators. If you are yelling in your classroom, you have lost your effing mind. Go work someplace else. Go be a police officer. There should be no policing in any classroom at any grade. If you're policing, you don't have an instructional practice and repertoire that engages your students, period. You don't know what questions to ask. You don't know how to treat them. There are interpersonal skills that can be learned, and you don't have them. I'm just going to say it like it is. So I wrote, the time is now. I call in love or above. So I had to stop there because sometimes I write a little, but it says a lot. And then I wrote, I call in, and this is the aspies. I call in social, spiritual, intellectual, emotional, physical, environmental health. Now, I say aspies because that's a way you can remember all of them, but I was just writing them. I wasn't writing them in any order. And I wrote, my purpose is to protect and serve Mother Earth, all girls, women, the matriarchy, and my 3 daughters, Sky, Emma, and Ava. To protect and serve Mother Earth Who do I think I am? Well, I'll tell you. I know it sounds crazy, but like that, I wrote that today when I came out of my morning meditation. I was like on fire, and sometimes I can't even get in my. I've been meditating every day, twice a day, 20 minutes. I didn't even post this year that it's probably my in January. It was my 12th, maybe even 13th. I'm not even counting anymore because it's just part of who I am. I meditate twice a day, every day. I practice yoga every day. I can still do full splits in every direction. I can lay flat like an envelope. I can do all the Gumby bendy things I always could, even when I was 16. But I am 55 and so much wiser, better, gentler, kinder than I've ever been. And so I invite you to do the work of releasing what no longer belongs to you. Maybe it didn't even belong to you in the first place. Send it back with love. Kisses, right? And then stand firm in who you are right now. I am calling in. This is exactly what I want. Like when I said yesterday that I want morning sex, do you know how hard that is for me? I date a younger man, and he has so much respect for my kids who's like, he will not come to my house in the sheer fact that he might run into any of them. He never comes to my house, and I love my house. I want him to come to my house. But all three of my children have to be out of town for him to step foot in my house because he may be young and half my age or whatever, but he respects my kids enough and is kind enough in his heart to think of my kids when I'm like, no, bro, come on over. And Sarah will say it, but like, he's the one who had to correct me. He's like, hell no, I'm never going there. So that's the kind of man I like to be with, right? That's a real man. And listen, this whole shaving everywhere, like bald, that's part of your patriarchal, disgusting nonsense. Like, sure, like wear your bush how you want to wear your bush, ladies, but don't do it because some man told you to, because that is disgusting. Do it because it looks better, because your bikini is, because I always have a bikini on. I kept it real, and I was paranoid about that for a while. And every man I've ever been with is like, I don't care what you look like or what you smell like. I want you. Dirty, clean, hair done, makeup, sexy clothes. I was once at a Tony Robbins workshop, and he was asking people in the crowd if they thought they were sexy. And I was like, I'm not going to raise my hand right now because I know I'm sexy. I don't need him to tell me, right? And then I didn't even like the question, so I was like, I'm not participating in this. And I was with my boy crew, who I still love and talk to. And I had Yoda, that Yoda over there. I had him on my shoulder like I was Luke Skywalker, okay? I wore him around the conference like that because that's who I am. Because in my brain, I'm like, Shakespeare or Hamlet, to be or not to be. And Yoda is like, try or try not. It's the same freaking stuff. So my thing is like, I want to do what I need to do to make my business grow. And if I want to wear Yoda on my sleeve and see all my friends from Fiji again and give them a hug and a kiss, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So that's what I did. And then Tony walked right by, and he was like 3 people from me. And he's like, no, really, who thinks they're sexy here? And so I said, mumbled under my breath, I said, I'm sexy. And that 6'7" man said out loud, well, not with that Yoda on your shoulder, you're not. And he's got a microphone on. And the cameras follow him everywhere. So like, I've been seen on many a Tony Robbins stage, and they have plenty of video of me telling him off. Like, there's a picture of me that I've shared where he squirted me with cold water because he knew I was cold the entire time because they make the room 60 degrees or lower because they want you to stay awake because it's like 12-hour days. Okay. And they want your attention. But me, I'm a Florida girl, and I thought I'm going to Fiji. I did not bring winter clothes, so I was cold the whole time, and he knew it because I would grab blankets and I would sit in the corner in the back, and I'd make like a tent with my booklet. I wasn't there to be liked, people. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you think I'm fat, ugly, wrinkly. I made a little tent in the back of the room, literally under it, and I was still cold. Okay. And that man drenched me head to toe in ice cold water. His gun broke, wouldn't squirt at me anymore. So he walked over and emptied it on me. Why? Because I gave him a hard time all weekend. I called him out on his leadership. I called him out on the salesy pitch of everything that he ever did. Because he's always like, I'm in service. I'm in service. I'm like, you are in service to sell, young man. He might be older than me. I don't know. But like the bottom line, like he's the sharkiest salesman of all. He just happens to have a kind heart. And I like Tony, but I don't like everything Tony says and does. I'm not one of his groupies who agree. And then if I tend anything since, people are like, I get inbox to my business account that they have found me, and they're now trying to sell me on how'd you like Tony? I thought it was great. And I'm like, I don't even give them the time of day. I'm just block. That's not how you communicate, boys. That's not it at all. So like, you have an entire elite class, all the banks, all the places you shop from, all the apps you use, in a mindset that young females are the only image of beauty in this world. And we have to stop buying what they sell and rewrite an entire story that is accurate and true of the female experience. And that is why I did write a book. It was a download in like 2 days. I'm still working on refining chapters because I didn't expect to write this book. It came out of nowhere, the pleasure curriculum, because I was reading the Epstein files and I was researching that infant mortality rates are up, that they don't want you voting, so you have to have your passport, but then the states that don't have passports are all red states, so they're they're trying to now reverse the bill. These are our politicians. They are so weak and greedy and beta men. And I know this because I've had deep experience with one of them. I have like connections, you know, that 6 or 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, like that game you play, like I'm like 2 degrees from Humpty Dumpty. My friend, when it all went down, was like, holy shit, Dawn, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I know, I didn't invite this in. It was not my doing. It was all him. And then to get caught in that triad, I know a triad when I see it. And there's another Texas senator right now who has his mistress set herself on fire and killed herself outside her home. I wonder, did the triad kill her because I gotta be careful what I say, because then they're not going to publish my video, show anyone, but like he denied it. And he's, these are the men in control. No, we need an entirely new crew of people in politics. And here's the thing. You don't make money in politics the old way. That's why so much money's in it now. Because public service it's not sexy, y'all. Public service is not sexy because you can make so much money doing other things. Like, I'm no longer a public servant. I was one for 30 years. And I went to the private school and I was like, this is even worse. Right? I opted out of the whole entire thing. And I want you to just take some tiny actions. What tiny actions could you take today that would make you want to feel that you're strong enough to protect everyone around you in your care, no matter what, even if they don't know you, even if they're a different religion or a skin color, even if they like love their hearts love differently than your own. Like, we are so divided that we are not seeing the big picture. And if I've learned anything from teaching the good books of the world, is that they're the big picture, that bird's eye omniscient point of view, where you get to look down and see the whole world as it really is. There are multiple layers to understanding that. And if you are like an ostrich with your head stuck in the sand, there's a Yiddish expression that I can't say, I don't want to mess it up, but Aunt Ida used to say it, something about it like, don't be like an ostrich and stick your head in the sand, right? Be the beautiful, feminine, strong, wonderful human being that you are, because you, even if you're a man, you're feminine. I just lost the stream there. So I'm going to say that again, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Be the beautiful, human, feminine being that you are, because even if you're a man, you were birthed from a woman. And I want to say that cheers to South Korea. Look what's going on with their birth rates. If you don't treat women well, once women figure out the system, your population will decline. And Christian nationalists and white boys who are born and raised in this country and do not speak a second language, making fun of handsome, sexy AF men like Bad Bunny, Benito Martinez, Ocasio. I don't even, he's got a lot of names, Benito something. There's like 4, but I think you are the weakest teeny weeny beta boys of all. So go keep putting your fish pictures in your online dating sites, because sure, every girl and woman wants a stinky fish picture in pop up in their face. Like, that's something men don't get. I could do a whole video on dumb men, and I've saved the pictures for decades because I've been a widow single for 14 years of gross men and the shit they send me. I could do like an entire channel of it. So like, leave them in their dust with their teeny weenies, and the bigger the truck, the noisier the truck. I live in Davie. It's a horse town. Okay. Huge Humpty Dumpty town, surrounded by them, me. The bigger the truck, the louder the truck, the teenier the weenie. And the ladies whose faces aren't moving, who your face is so like your fillers are now puffing, like you don't want natural wrinkles. You look plastic. It's a very swollen, easy to tell that you don't love yourself enough to let God give you what you've been given. Right? Like, I hate to shame women for trying to look younger or pretty, but do you realize who you are trying to serve when you do that? Let the bush grow out, ladies. Stop not eating dessert because you want to look good in your bathing suit. Like, who cares what you look like in your bathing suit? Really? Especially those of us who have had babies. Like, we are beautiful just because we birthed a human out of our bodies. That is a peak human experience that only belongs to women. Okay, so if we're talking God, why did God give women the power? Why does every other mammal on the planet, orca, primates, every single mammal on the planet is elephants, matriarchal societies, except humans? Because a long time ago, the men got together and said, we may not let them get their power, because when they get their power, they're more powerful than us. Imagine that. The Scarlet Letter. Keep her down. Keep her confined to complicated grief. Shame her. Make him a hero. But guess what? The end of that book, he's the one with the most complicated grief of all, because he lives in shadow of a lie. And that's what I'm calling out, is like, what is your red line, dads and strong men out there, real men out there? You don't want to get angry, because when real men get angry, it's not pretty. It makes me proud when real men get angry. I saw my dad knock a guy the fuck out when I was a kid. My mom was drop dead gorgeous, and we went to the beach. We're in Hollywood, freaking Florida. And my mom, like, men would like gawk and flock at her. Okay. And I know I have a picture at about this time of when it happened. I posted it many places, my favorite picture of me and my mom. And I am boobless, which means I'm like 10 or 11. Okay. So I'm a tween. And my dad's at the paddleball courts. My mom and I are sitting at the paddleball courts the way they used to be set up, Garfield Street, you know. And this man is drunk and he won't leave my mom alone. And so my dad stops playing, goes over to the guy. He's like, hey, that's my wife. That's my daughter. Get the fuck away. And the guy turns around to punch my dad. And my dad just swings one punch, knocks the guy the fuck out. And I was like, hell yeah, daddy. I said that out loud, like, hell yeah, daddy, because I was a little girl sitting there like, mom, what do we should we do? Like, I in my brain was like, should we get up? Should we move? What do I do? And then lo and behold, my entire existence, once I got my curves, I lived my mom's life. I've never gone out a day where I'm not catcalled or whistled or just treated away because of what I look like. So I have a ton, and thank you for that comment to my lovely twinny cousin Terry that you gave me about the last video. Is I have decades of lived experience of what the opposite of pleasure feels like. But I also have decades of experience of owning my own sexuality and knowing that no man will ever control my income, and he never has, and he never will. I'll never need a man. And I developed that because I'm raised in a house with my dad. My mom ended up divorcing and we lived separately. But I saw my dad, and he's to this day my biggest hero, my solid rock. But I saw him struggle. Like, he wanted to be a football practice. He was our football coach. So like, we didn't have the luxuries of life that all the other kids at the high school had, because my dad wanted to be with his kids who were at the high school. And to me, like, how smart of him to be in my life at that vulnerable time, because I could get in trouble. Where's Danielle? Like, we lived at Fort Lauderdale Beach when the strip was like a thing, and I'm going to Danielle's house, and then Danielle's going to my house, and then we would just go out all night, not even know where we're going to sleep. I mean, if you're in middle school and high school now, some of you kids, you know what I'm talking about. And literally, lo and behold, I would be walking the strip when I shouldn't have been, at an age I shouldn't have been. I'm vulnerable. It's the Epsteinville, West Palm Beach area. I've been approached by many people on the beach in my life in South Florida, where you want to be a model? Do you want to be an actress? Can I take your picture? Like, that's happened to me a gazillion times before I was even a grown-ass adult. So to be able to sit now in my power and my strength and own it, and to hopefully inspire you guys to like take your lived experience and create a safer world for our babies. Like, let's do it, y'all. I can't even imagine a world moving forward where we still have grown women pushing the culture war in charge of our government and literally paid players, bots, you name it, on all these platforms to distract us from our nature. And our nature is we are love or above. And if that's not our nature, then we need to change it so that it becomes our nature. Because we're destroying the planet, we're destroying each other. I mean, isn't that, if you're a God believer, isn't that what God said? Like the two big things, love God and love your neighbor. Yet, no, we're going to destroy our neighbor down to rubble. For what? For who? And I laugh at you, Jared Kushner. The way you so tightly live in your weird bubble and brag about the plans that you have for Gaza, the whole world is watching. And it is time for, this is like the pep rally moment when I go up to someone making fun of a special needs couple dancing with my microphone and my cheerleading uniform, and I say, sit down, you will not laugh, stop laughing. And that's what I want to say to all you oligarchs out there. Your moms lied to you. You're not as special as you think you are. And the only reason you can claim to be special is because of your wealth. And you didn't create it. No, you were born into it. So I know for a fact, and I've looked at all the research, Harvard research, MIT, that privileged children do not fare as well as those children who had to fend for themselves. Mental health is not something you can joke about. It's just not. And privileged kids suffer. The amount of meds that I saw being dumped at the table at my kids' private summer camp every year that they were privileged enough to attend, I was amazed. Like, amazed. And not that I'm against medication at all. I'm not against anything like that. But I was shocked at the volume because as an educator, as an ESC certified teacher for decades, I've been in a million IEP meetings and I know what meds a kid needs and when they need them. And I recommend them when I think they are needed, right? Like some Ritalin and Adderall do a kid good when they need it, right? There are healthier means to get it. You don't need the drugs, the company, but let's talk about that later. So this has been long. And this is just what I want to do at 12 most days from now on. So if you want to join me, chat, comment, I will love it. But I only need one to be here. And that's it. I love you. I think I covered everything. We did the 2 and the 3, the riding, ride the wave. We're going to surf and surf. Big goals for me, busting through ceilings I never thought I would or could. And I'm glad you're here at the very beginning of a lot of it. Have a wonderful day. Mwah! Ciao.